Hello and good afternoon. We've just hit it. It's 12:09. I can say afternoon. I wanted to come on and do my live a little bit earlier today because I've got two really important topics I want to talk about. The first being that today is National Mental Health Day, and this week has actually been National Dyslexia Week. And the other thing I wanted to come back to is our story writing competition and giving my ample writers a little bit of advice and structuring on how they can talk their stories. So let's start with it being National Mental Health Day. Mental health can mean so many different things to different people, and that is why I offer mentoring within my tutoring services. Now, I think mental health is very, very important, understanding how our brain works and what it does. But I also think this links quite closely to neurodiversity and SEN needs, as I feel like how the brain works and how the brain processes kind of goes hand in hand. We are all people and we have our own mental health needs and our own understanding. And if we valued each other for who we are and what we do, I feel that the world would be a better place. Now, I wanted to talk to you how I've always explained my mental health and kind of how my brain works. And that is by our lovely friend here, a can of Coke. Now, sometimes you'll have a can of Coke and you'll open it and you'll flick the lid and it will just completely expose and go everywhere, like the bottle's really been shaken up. That is me on a bad day. I'm overflowing, I'm 100 miles an hour, my ADHD is not in check, my dyslexia is chucking spelling here, there and all over the place, and I just feel like an eruption waiting to happen because I'm over-regulated, I'm over-stimulated and my emotions just aren't there. Yeah, I make a big mess when it explodes everywhere and I need other people or my coping strategies to wipe it up and kind of put me back into my contained can. Sometimes I do feel like a contained can. I have to act or be a certain way to fit into situations. Like some children might feel in school, they feel that they are squashed in this little box and they're just waiting to be able to run and explore and do things their own way. There's not always problem in my explosions, but sometimes they can make a big mess and sometimes they can make a beautiful mess that makes me see everything together that I can clear up, and there's a little smiley face in the spilt bubbles. But when we're looking at this contained can, that's how I sometimes think the education system works and how kids feel. And I like to, when doing my tutoring, kind of just pop it so you can hear the bubbles trickling up and you can hear that kind of sweet sound that gives you that refreshment. Now, sometimes you take a sip of a can of Coke and it's like, whoa, it's really fizzy, it's really new, it's really cold. And it gives you that fresh perspective, that fresh thing that makes you go, okay, I've got that. That's sometimes how I feel like as a person. I can bring that fresh perspective. I can be that fresh perspective for myself, like a nice warm shower in the morning, and I can reset and start my days. Sometimes you might take a drink of it and it's flat and it's a bit cold and it's a bit off. You know, when you drink that really syrupy Coke and you're like, oh, that does absolutely nothing. Sometimes that can be my mental health and my mood, that I'm still in there, I'm still contained, I'm still trying to let myself out, but I'm just flat. I've given all that I can give and there's not a lot left. And that's why I always describe myself as a can of Coke. I'm always a little bit fizzy and ready to go. Some days that might end up in a beautiful explosion or not so beautiful explosions. Other days that might end up being a little bit flat but pushing through with a few bubbles trickling in the others. And sometimes I can be cold and refreshing with just a little pop and everything's trickling out nicely. I also think that links to my dyslexia and ADHD. So that's what I mean by mental health and it being National Dyslexia Week link hand in hand. Now, neurodiversity, helping children learn in their own way, and mental health are topics that are really close to my heart. So please put a thumbs up in the comment, take a moment for yourself today. Know that you do understand your own brain and our brains are powerful but wonderful things, and know that you are doing the best by you. And if you're not, what changes can you make? As long as you're trying your best, you're succeeding, and we can't try our best every single day. All of that said and done, I want to now move on to our story writing competition. And I've actually had a few entries in this week, which I'm really excited to dig my teeth into. But my topic for tutoring this week has been planning and implementing. So putting our stories into practice. And the things that we've been looking at is a story mounting. So this is where we have an opening to our story, a build-up, a dilemma, a resolution and a closing. And a good story should have all of these things. So if we think about the story of the Three Little Pigs, yeah, the opening is that they're all different characters, they've all built different houses, and they all have slightly different personalities. That sets our story to know that we've got tones of 3, 3, 3, which could be alliteration. So that's our opening, introducing our characters and showing our setting. Our build-up then brings a wolf into the picture, this kind of more evil and sinister character that we don't really understand. Yes, we're linking our opening to our build-up. Our dilemma is then that the wolf starts blowing these houses down and takes 2 of them completely away. How did that happen? That's our dilemma and seeing what's happening. We then go down to our resolution. So what do the little pigs decide to do about it? Well, they're going to go to the brick house and they're going to get that wolf to fall down the chimney. Now, we all know what happens in the story in that close. But it shows the theme of the story is teamwork and working together. Not always the nicest of fairy tales, but it has a clear opening, a clear build-up, a clear dilemma, a clear resolution, and a clear close. That is how a strong story should work, but with more creativity and more build. So for anyone that is looking to write their story, or any parent that is looking to help their children write their story, think about the story map, and there are lots of resources online about how story maps work for their own story. Another way of planning and implementing a story is using the story planner. So, a story always needs an introduction, yeah? Set that scene, bring in that description. When we open a book and it's describing and taking us straight into the world of where a story's going to happen, we are there. We are for reading, we are for being engaged. So that's what we need to put into our introduction. We're then wanting to introduce the people and the characters. We want to know where the story's going, who's it's about, if we're going to read more. If it's a story we're writing, of course we're going to read more. We then go into our build-up, yeah? This is kind of similar to, like, the same as the story map. Building it up, saying what's going to have, teasing that information from our powerful description to actually writing going into play, walking ourselves through that story. As our walkthrough, we're then going to do our climax and conflict. From where our setting was to now what's happening to the characters, what does that lead to? Is it something really positive? Is it something really negative? If we're going our Halloween stories, this might be where we bring in our mystery, our description, our horrible character, our evil in our good, or something that might happen to our main characters. So that's our conflict and climax. And this is normally our longest part of our story. So recapping from the start, description and introduction, what's happening, set the scene for us. Build it up and put us in the story, draw us in. Keep us drawn in by saying what's going to happen. Then show us a resolve. This is the bit where we'll be keeping on our toes. We'll be thinking in our own head, could it be this, could it be that? You tell us what it could be, because it's our story. Then close your story off. Whether it ends on a cliffhanger, a new chapter, or something like that, close your story off and get your message of your story really, really clear. So that's how I would plan and implement the stories, and that's what I've been going over with our students this week. Some of our stories have been really, really powerful. Others, we need a bit more planning and implementation. If you are struggling, a key task I always suggest to students and young people, blank bit of paper, split it into 4 or 8, yeah? And comic strip out what's happening in each thing. So our introduction, you could draw your trees, your setting. Is it set in a graveyard, a horrible mansion, you know, somewhere derelict? Is it just set in a normal house? Then bring in your characters. These 2 boxes form your introduction. Then bring in your build-up. Your build-up's probably going to be 2 boxes. What's happening? Setting the scene. Draw little images in the corner that could be meaning bigger things. Then go to the conflict and climax. What's going to happen next? What's pulled down from our teaser. Then finally, our resolution and our close. Draw it out. Make it make sense to you. I've done an amazing drawing earlier, which not an amazing drawing, but, you know, planning it out, which I'm going to grab for you guys to quickly talk over. So, this was my little story plan, okay? So we've got a street light that's blinking. We've got our little ghost in the corner, kind of bringing in our build-up. We've got that it's a dark, starry night. By the way, I never said that I was good at drawing. And the student that I was working with wanted it to kind of be set into a town with cheeky and naughty kids. So we've got a shop here. We can see the shutters broken. There's graffiti against the shop. The window smashed. And you know when you go past like a town or a village and like one of the letters is dropping off the sign, or you can kind of just see the shadow in it? I always feel like we've all got that shop in our head, that imagery that we have. So I've done the O slightly falling down. And we've got two kids sitting on the roof of the shop. And the shopkeeper going, come on, get down. We've then got this young girl walking in the rain, and on her t-shirt there's a little jack-o'-lantern skeleton, and she's shielding herself from the rain on the umbrella as the bulb of the street light beats down on her. What's going to happen next? So we've got our characters, we've got our scene, we've got our build-up, that we've got a ghost in the corner. It could be that something happens with these boys coming down off the roof, so that could lead to our climax. And then finally, I'm not going to show you my resolution of what could happen. Yeah, so we've got all these different things happening in one image that was drawn out stages. So I did the starry night first, and my lamppost and my rain. I then built in my kind of 4 main characters. See, this girl being the main character because she's right in the middle, she's larger. I then brought in the shop as well as my scenery. Then my conflict and climax is what's happening between these boys and this lady here, but also the ghost being in the corner. I haven't gone to my resolution and my closing yet. Okay, so story writing doesn't always have to be writing. It can be sketching it out. But if you're just someone that's going to go in and write for it, go in and write for it. But if you get stuck, always have a plan. This could be detailed drawings to just bullet points. But getting a plan out there helps your story have more structure and more content. I'm looking forward to receiving more of your stories this week. Look after your mental health. Think about our brilliant dyslexic brains that are around in this society on National Dyslexia Week, and I will catch you in the next live. Keep me updated on everything that's going on in the wonderful world that we work in, and thank you and welcome to all my new followers. I'm Millie. I run Crossfire's Tutoring, Mentor and More, offering tutoring, mentoring and more to families, young people, children and adults in the West Sussex and wider community. Come join us for a chat if you feel that you need help with your academic performance or moving forward to your next goals, whether it's reading, writing, mathematics, functional skills, home education and learning, CV writing in colleges, or even the theory test revision. Anything that covers education, I'm here to do what I can. See you next Friday, guys. Bye!